Matthew McConaughey changed this guy's life. I've never met Matthew McConaughey, but I sure met him through this book called Greenlights. I don't get a dime if you buy this book. One of my kids, our youngest daughter, bought it for me for Christmas because I wanted to read this book, and I read it before the Christmas holidays were over. It was so enthralling. I want to share with you a story from that book. Sometimes we feel like we're all alone in this world. There are times when we think nobody understands us, what we're going through, because we think that, and we feel lonely because maybe nobody does understand us. Maybe you feel all alone. I don't know what your story is. Maybe you've lost somebody you love and you think life can never be happy. It can never be happy again. Maybe there's guilt from your past, a past hurt, a pain, a father that left you, a spouse that betrayed you, a child that died. Maybe it's a mother that never said she loved you or abandoned you when you were young, or an abuse you experienced when you were a child. It could be one of 100 different losses that you've experienced, and maybe nobody understands. This book is just incredible. I don't exist to sell it, but there's so much in this book. I've got to read it again and again and again. And McConaughey, after he got his initial success and he started making tons of money, making movies, it's just an interesting, incredible story of a man that is so honest and so raw in this book. And there's nothing that he hides about his life. It's all in there. And he heard about this monastery in the desert in New Mexico, and he had just had his initial success, and his mind was like, what do I do with this success? And he knew all his sins, as it were, all his shortcomings, all the demons that haunted him. And so he heard about this monastery that if you just go there, it's out in the middle of the desert. And if you just go there and ring the bell, they'll come in and take you in. So he got a buddy to drive him and drop him off at the gate. And he had to walk 13 and a half miles in the desert to this place called the Monastery of Christ in the desert in New Mexico. And when he got there, he saw the bell. It was just before dinner at night. And he rang the bell. And this guy that was called a brother Andre answered that bell and welcomed him in. And after he got cleaned up, he went and ate with the group. And they read the Psalms, and nobody was allowed to say anything. You could not talk. And after dinner was over, he went to what he calls Brother Andre, and he said, I need somebody to talk to. And he said, well, we have somebody you can talk to. And so tomorrow I'll hook you up with a guy named Brother Christian. So the story goes that for 4 hours, Brother Christian and Matthew McConaughey walked in the desert. Just the two of them. I'm going to read you what he said. I met Brother Christian. We went for a long walk in the desert. I unloaded my feelings of guilt, low and lecherous places my mind had been traveling, the perverseness of my thoughts. Since becoming famous, I said, I've tried to be a good man, to not lie, not to deceive myself, to be more pure of heart and mind, but I am full of lust, objectifying other people and myself. I don't feel a connection to my past, and I don't see a path for my future. I'm lost. I don't feel myself. Have you ever been there? Maybe you're there right now. And so he shared his demons for the next 3.5 hours, he said. I took myself to the woodshed, writes McConaughey. Brother Christian did not say a word, not one word. He just patiently listened as we wandered side by side through the desert. At hour number 4, we found ourselves back at the chapel, sitting on a bench just outside the entrance. Now weeping, I eventually came to the end of my confession. We sat in silence while I waited Christian's judgment. Nothing. Finally, in the unrest of the stillness, I looked up. Brother Christian, who had not said one word to me in the entire 4 hours, looked me in the eyes, and in almost a whisper, he said to me, "Me too." 2 words. I get it, Matthew, he's saying without saying it. I've been where you are. I'm no better than you are. I'm just a wretched person with all my demons, all my doubts, all my hurts, all my pains. He didn't say any of those words, but he said them all. Me too. And here's how he ends this chapter. McConaughey writes, sometimes we don't need advice. Sometimes we just need to hear. We're not the only one. I don't know what you're going through. Spark of Life mission is to walk beside those who are trying to find life, or trying to just find hope in the midst of despair. I don't know what your loss is. We deal with all kinds of losses. We want you to know one thing. At Spark of Life, we don't want you to ever be totally alone. We exist to walk beside those who are struggling with life for a variety of reasons. We'd love to talk to you. At Spark of Life, we believe there's always hope. We believe not only in hope, we believe that you can find hope again. You're not alone. Go to sparkoflife.org. At Spark of Life, there's always hope.